Traders, good morning, afternoon, evening. Welcome back. Connor, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Scotty. How are you?
I'm well. It's episode 68 as well, guys. And I hope everyone's having a fantastic week. Bit earlier for Trade Talk. And before we roll into the charts, a quick risk disclaimer. So if you've watched the Trade Talk series before, you'd be familiar with this. Connor and I are presenting an entertaining and, well, sometimes entertaining, some would say maybe not, but educational is the main objective here on how to approach trading and how to sort of learn instead of just jumping straight in and talking profits. So we present live trades here. So when we are talking about trading, we're not suggesting you take any position. And if you are looking to, invest or grow your money or learn about Forex, please, do it without risking real money. There's so many platforms you can use with simulated trading, so you don't have to risk your hard-earned money. There's back testing, Forex Tester 3, I would highly recommend. Connor and I both use that. And check out the videos we've made previously, and you'll see the evolution of what's happened. But it's a long journey, so please be careful. Don't listen to signals and things like that. Learn how to trade yourself. And let's get into, we've got the New Zealand yen here, Connor, and it's not looking too bad. It was running really nicely yesterday, but just explain, how this trade is for you. And you've moved to stop as well, I believe.
Yeah, I have moved to stop. So first off, I got in off the box breakout that you can see. So it's just sort of touched a few times in the top of the box, and then touched a few times bottom of the box, and then it broke out. And so I'll take the trade once the candle has finished. However, I was out at the time, and so when I got back home, the second candle had already pretty much finished, so I took it there. So I took it at like a discounted price, you could say. However, it started to go down, and then last night we were actually chatting. It started to really rally up, and I made the comment like, as soon as I go to bed, this sucker will go down. And lo and behold, I went to bed and I woke up and it just keeps continually going down. But it looks, I'm not, don't call it a comeback, but it hasn't hit the recent lows. So I'll just see how it goes here.
Look, with this wick here and it's bounced off, that's, relatively a good sign. And, like you said, it was moving last night. Everything was moving pretty well last night, and then everything is sort of reverted back. It's very strange. A lot of the pairs, even with the US raising rates, although they said they were going to do that anyway, but it actually did happen, and how things have sort of reversed a bit. And we'll see now. I guess Thursday has just begun, and then we've got all the Friday, so we'll see what happens. But it certainly is quite interesting. So just to recap, we've got that red line there at 77.17. That is a support level. Is that correct?
No, that's my stop.
Oh, so that's the move stop. Oh, nice. I see. Yep.
Yeah. So my stop was at like 77.019.
Oh, yep,
so
gotcha. Yep.
Yeah. But we'll see what goes on. I mean, this current candle that's going on at the moment starting to go down pretty fast. I think it's all to do with, like we were talking before, the interest rates in the US.
It's a very strange, but this whole week, like I follow quite a few other traders on Instagram, and I see what they're talking about, and it is quite interesting. Everyone's finding it a little difficult when it comes to, even the lower time frame, guys. I watch someone that does the 15-minute charts, and it sort of moves a little bit, and then and it's back again. So it's very choppy. Even, obviously from a 4-hour perspective, you're going to see up and down, because that's just what the markets do. But there's not a lot of conviction at all. So it's quite interesting to see. Like, we've even got the majors, like the euro is on the 4-hour, it's not really looking that great, given that the US dollar should be stronger because of the rate decision. Although I haven't looked into detail about, because normally what people like to see is the commentary of the chairman So, you know, like what he says or what she says, whatever country you're in. So that might be doing something, but it's, you know, if you are a news trader, you got to be very careful, because on the 4 hour, just on the euro, that's a massive wick. And if you were selling and then it's back up again, it's like, wow, like it's can really damage an account, especially if you're trading relatively big size for your account as well. You got to be careful. But now I think what we did discuss as well is I've got the New Zealand yen here on the weekly. So these are the support and resistance levels, because I think you told me about this pair. It's probably the best of the bunch currently when it comes to trending, and it's not too correlated to the madness of the US dollar currently. So it's interesting. So you've got the next resistance level up at, is that 77.90 or so, thereabouts? Yeah. So
I mean, there is a bit of madness with the Japanese yen to do with its rates. So we'll see, just see what goes on.
But yeah, and like I don't have a trade currently. I was actually very close to putting in a pending order on the New Zealand yen when that candle, I wasn't actually up for the close of that really nice breakout candle where it was quite bullish. And I said to myself, I'll get up at like 5 in the morning Perth time, which is 7 a.m. Sydney time, and just see if that's still holding, and then I would have made the pending order near. It would have been about 77.90, and I'm sort of, you know, like I would have done that, but it didn't. When I got up, it was obviously where it is now, so I sort of passed on it. But it's been a difficult week because, you know, it is tempting to want to trade and whatnot, but yeah, it's just sort of, I've got to stick to my system. So last month was definitely a little more crazy, and that sort of showed in the results. The Bitcoin price I've got up as well. There's a lot going on, guys, this week. But Bitcoin is definitely, I mean, it's like 63 now, 63.50. So, wowee. I don't know if anyone trades Bitcoin and watches this occasionally, and if you're watching this, I hope you're okay financially and you're not like having to sell stuff, because it's pretty, this week especially has been pretty potent. So, but yeah, so the resistance levels, you're the same, Connor. You determine them with the weekly time frame, and then you use the line. Yeah,
so I determine all my charts. So, like, you know how you and I sort of got taught that do the support and resistance on the time frame above. And then, so if you're going to trade the 4 hourly, do it on the daily. If you're going to trade the daily, do your support and resistance on the weekly. But I just do everything off the weekly.
Yeah. I think
what works for me.
Andre does that as well. I think Andre watches it. He told me about that. He does it on the weekly and with the line graph or the line chart, so you can really see the close a lot easier. So guys, when you that's why we've got the lines up. So if you are looking to understand, this is the key thing. So you don't really want to buy straight when it's at resistance. I mean, you can if you want to, but you have to understand that time and time again, especially some key levels, price will hit that, and it might just go above it. It's like a zone, but it will probably come back down again, and it's just going to be a little frustrating holding a position that just struggles to break a key level. So, you know, there's still a bit of room to move though with your position here with the New Zealand yen. So that's not too bad, your entry. So you've got to consider that, guys, as well when you're taking a trade, especially on a like a time frame like the 4 hour or the daily, where it's going to have to move a little bit in your favor to actually secure some decent, you know, risk to reward type ratio returns. But that's that there. So, and look, I think I already touched upon it, didn't I, with the euro US dollar, but it's certainly interesting how the news was out and now it's it's looking stronger. It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, was there anything else you're seeing, Connor?
No, I was just, I mean, we were talking off camera, and this is like the classic sort of fundamentals versus technicals. In theory, interest rates have gone up. The US dollar should be getting stronger, right?
Yeah.
Like because they can get more money for investment. They've got a higher interest rate, but we're not seeing that on the chart at the moment.
No,
we're seeing it. We're seeing the euro getting strength. So, and full disclosure, we haven't looked at the news. We're not particularly interested in the news, but it's just interesting. This is one of those classic examples of what happens when you follow price action instead of the fundamentals.
That's true, because just looking at it from an unbiased perspective, I've got the euro US dollar open on the 4-hour, and you would really, if you didn't know, like, because obviously when we backtest, we don't historically check news articles when we take the trade. So if you are a technical trader and you've backtested a strategy, you really shouldn't care about the news, because you don't know what triggered that. Obviously there's a catalyst, but there's this big wiki candle here, the second last candle, and now currently it sort of does look pretty bullish. Like, it's taken a lot of stops out or whatever with that sizable wick. I mean, that's compared to the previous months, it's quite substantial. And now
it's like the biggest actual candle, not in in body, but it's the biggest candle in the past. Geez, like on the 4-hour.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be the last 20 at least, 30 maybe.
So it's pretty substantial how it's. And now it's holding. It's probably going to test 1.18 again. So if you are thinking about just shorting something because of the news, you got to be a little bit cautious about that. That's what I would say, because the trading can be very cruel when you sort of do that and you don't regard any sort of technical stuff at all. So, oh man, I just had a look at
when you're competing with the financial institutions who have all that information on there.
And they get things first and they're ready to go and whatnot. You've got to be mindful of that. So that's something just to take away from things, guys. And if you are a trend trader and you haven't taken a trade this month so far, look, I haven't either. I was very tempted by the New Zealand yen. I will still be tempted by that pair if it can get back to that 77.80 level. And I do buy into strength, so that's something I do. But I was very tempted by that. So I still see some, and I mean, I've got the 55-day moving average here running, and it's still holding above that pretty nicely. So we'll see though. Like you said, Connor, there's no expectations. It met your criteria, and you take the trade. It's sort of being like a robot, guys. You don't want to overthink things too much, and if you're working or you're busy and sometimes the entry's not perfect. I think we've discussed this, haven't we? I think we had a call and we discussed the entry's not the most important. Like, if the risk management's there and if the exit is good as well.
Yeah, there's an argument. There's an argument. A lot of people say they're both important.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Some people say which one's more important. I believe that the risk management's more important. And then you can get another person who would argue that the entry is the most important.
Yeah.
But that's a talk for today.
It is, because it's 13 odd minutes now. So, but guys, again, so to conclude, Connor's long New Zealand yen. I still see some promise in that as well. Follow us on Twitter at Trade Talk Pippin. That's where we do screenshots. That's where we're most active. We just can't post a video all the time when there's a possible trade on. Instagram as well, Scotty's Trading. Connor has a YouTube channel as well, link in the description. There's a good couple of videos that I've shared before. Please watch them on support and resistance, because we just touched upon them, but please watch that video. I'll put that up on Twitter as well today. And that's it. Connor, any final closing comments?
No, mate, you've got it. You've got it all again. You did well.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Connor, thanks for joining us. Happy trading, everyone.
You.